Run it back.
Ready?
Keep it light.
There's so many out there, you just don't know.
Which ones to watch and when to say no. That's why Ryan and
Andrew
watch so you don't have to.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 32 of
We Watch So You Don't Have To.
The Bad Movie Podcast. Today, we watched
Gooby. That's Gooby. Gooby.
G-O-O-B.
And then a Y. By Wilson Comey Bear is the director. Last name Comey Bear.
I thought it was Coney Bear. You're saying Comey with an M?
I wrote Comey Bear, so it has to be right. And it's the most insane movie I've ever seen.
Yeah. We should summarize.
Yeah, do a summary.
Gooby is a movie about a little boy named Willy who is not a very popular kid at school, doesn't have a lot of friends. He's got imaginary friends, though. His parents think that he is hallucinating.
No, they don't think. A doctor that he's been going to has said that he has hallucinations and an overactive imagination. We'll dive into that because the parents shouldn't write it off as much as they are, considering the actual doctor's diagnosis. But anyways.
I feel like once they get that diagnosis, they're like, hands off. I can't deal with this. You're on your own, kid. You're on your own, kid.
So... Yeah, that's just, I mean, dude, you're scratching the surface. Continue with the summary. I've got...
Willy and his family have to move. He's very upset about that. But, you know, he gathers all of his things, except for his favorite bear in the whole wide world, Gooby.
No, he doesn't like Gooby.
Behind.
Gooby's for babies.
Gooby's for babies. He's too cool for that.
So he leaves it in the house, which is a weird move, but whatever.
So they move to this new house, and it's a new school, and the bullies, you know, are picking on him. It's not going well for this kid. Until one day, all of a sudden, his little teddy bear that he thought he forgot about magically comes to life. In a horrifying way.
Horrifying, not in a, I mean, it's not that he comes to life in a horrifying way. The bear itself, he is horrifying.
He is horrifying.
Visually horrific.
His eyes are just open, like, the entire time, like, you know?
But that's like one of 30 things that's wrong with him. I don't know who dreamed this up and why I don't know why he looks so strange.
I have this theory that the director, Wilson Coney Bear...
Comey Bear.
Coney Bear with an N.
There's no way.
Is a serial killer, and this is his first movie he ever directed.
And then so that means that he would just design...
Because it's got such a dark tone all throughout. Let me finish the summary. I gotta finish the summary.
There's just so much to talk about.
So he and his giant bear friend, Gooby, become best of friends. Gooby helps him rough up the bullies at school, allowing him to become popular. Gooby also helps Willy patch things up with his dad so that they can get along for the first time. And I mean, there's a lot of crazy antics in between.
There's a lot of weird subplots too that I think you're right to leave them out of the summary, but we should dive into them later. But yeah, it's sort of the imaginary friend come to life to help him in a time of need. That old tale, you know. Yeah, I think you were starting to say that this movie is like, it has dark undertones. This movie is labeled as a family movie / like fantasy movie. You know, like if you're gonna make a family movie, there needs to be like some sort of wholesome thread and like message. I would think. Even the attempt at that is just so oddly done, and like the lessons that are learned. Like you mentioned in the summary, one of the things Gooby helps him do is beat up the bullies, and by beating up the bully, the cool kids notice and then stop picking on him, and he becomes friends with them. It's like, so wait, what's the lesson there?
At the end of the movie, he was like, and Gooby taught me how to like shop at the supermarket. But if you recall in that scene, they were just like breaking open boxes of cereal
and eating them,
causing all this havoc. Old people were like tripping on like fruit and stuff that was spilled on the floor. Like,
okay. Let's talk about this. How about this? The main character's name is Willy.
Willy.
What a strange name for a child. Are there children named Willy?
Maybe that's why the kids were picking on him a little bit. Because remember, they introduced him in the classroom. The teacher was like, all right, this is the new student, Willy. And then right away, before anything happened, everyone was like whispering, like, Willy.
Yeah, you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
I kind of got the sense
it's
that...
not a cool name. Sorry, all you Willies out there.
Tough when your crowd is that you hang out with is Gooby and your name is Willy. But anyways, I kind of get the sense that because throughout the movie you get the sense that the mom and dad hate the child, right?
Yeah. Well, the dad is just busy with his career all the time. He's on the phone. He's taking all these meetings. His wife, I don't know what she's doing. She's not paying attention to the kid.
Do you think this is how Canadians, because it's a Canadian movie, but it wasn't set in Canada?
In Canada, it didn't take place in Canada at all.
It didn't.
It's faraway land.
It didn't. It also didn't take place in Canada. It took place in the United States, but it's Canadian production and everything like that. Do you think this is how they see Americans and like, oh, they're always on the phone and doing their business deals? Because some of the business speak was just hilarious. You know,
Yeah.
It's like he's always going to Baltimore. Like
He's like, I gotta be in Boston and then I gotta be in Baltimore.
he said he had to go to Baltimore like I don't know. I mean, Baltimore is not a small city, but
No.
what are we supposed to? What was his business that he started with his friend Rolly?
Everyone in this movie, their name ends in a Y. Rolly, Gooby, Willy.
You're right, dude. There was a trolley. Maybe that's why this movie is so insane, because they wanted to. Everything had to be a word that ended in Y. Okay, I feel like we didn't talk about his parents. Let's talk about the cookies.
I feel like we didn't talk about his parents. Let's talk about the cookies. All right. So Willy, he kept hearing some weird noises outside, and he was like, I'm going to set a trap. And so he set out these marshmallow cookies on the windowsill.
They're not cookies. That's the thing. They're not
They're
cookies.
like macaroons.
That's it.
They were just stuffing their
that's
face with cookies the whole time. Look, I want to read the summary of this fucking movie on Wikipedia because
Andrew, you can't do that.
I don't know.
You can't do that.
Well, look, we tried to summarize this movie, right?
I think we did a good job. Now we just need to talk about what happened.
It made no sense. But is there a story here?
No. The answer is no.
Here's what happened through most of this movie. Everyone was sitting in chairs, doing something, a good chance that something is eating cookies.
Which aren't cookies, by the way. They're more like brownies.
Marshmallow cookies. They're like
cookies?
Hostess marshmallow pies or something.
Exactly. Why call that a cookie? I mean, I know they're Canadian, but they know what cookies are.
It's almost like they had this idea that this bear would transform into this larger-than-life thing. And then they were like, this is going to be crazy. They spent all their effort on making that happen. But then they were like, we don't have a script. What are we going to do here? I don't know. Grab that bag of cookies over there.
It's not that to me. I think it's that they have a lot of different plots, but none of them make sense. In that, for instance, you have a teacher who is featured prominently, and his whole plot that they're developing...
Eugene Levy.
Yep. Eugene. They spend a lot of time developing that he hates Lewis Carroll because Lewis Carroll wrote a kid's book that became very famous, and he wrote, and then Eugene Levy's character as a teacher wrote kids' books, and he wants to be famous, and he's mad that he's not famous, and that plays it up for a long time, and then the turn is that he is so obsessed with getting famous that he's going to get famous by taking a picture of Gooby. But I'm not sure that anyone's ever gotten famous from taking someone's photo. Like, can we name a case when that's happened? Like, yeah, there's paparazzi, but you know who's famous? The person in the photo, not the person that took it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't really get their angle with Eugene Levy until kind of like towards the very, very end, after an hour and a half, where he was just like frantically trying to like grab his camera. And then at that point I was like, oh, he seems obsessed with taking this photo.
Because he's in his mind, he's going to get famous. It's like, This isn't like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. Like, you're not going to be like famous for taking a photo of this thing.
Also,
everyone see.
Well, yeah, Gooby's just walking around in public.
Yeah,
like everyone's got like cell phone cameras. It's 2009.
People have already seen him. You know, I'm just like, I'm confused.
As was I throughout this entire movie. I thought that because they were saying, oh, he's got the little boy Willy, he's hallucinating, whatever. I thought
whatever. I love how he breathes over that.
And whatever, you know, he's got these imaginary friends. So I thought like he made up life-size Gooby in his head, like only he could see Gooby. And it wasn't until like the halfway point when he scared the bully where I was like, oh, other people can also see Gooby.
Yeah. I mean,
what the fuck?
I think if we think about it, I bet there's instances in the beginning where people should have seen him, but they didn't. Or no, I guess he was pretty sneaky for being a
giant,
an 8-foot giant deranged Fozzie Bear like ripoff.
Willy looked like a famous actress.
Oh, he did.
Should talk about that.
Yeah.
Winona Ryder.
Dead ringer for Winona Ryder.
Which is crazy because the boy in this movie was about 8 years
old.
But it's weird that he was somehow able to pull off a 40-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I mean, he's
quite a feat.
Yeah, I mean, I heard he's playing Jennifer Aniston in the new the new Horrible Bosses. He's taking Hollywood by storm.
You went so crazy with that one.
He's taking Hollywood by storm. Young boy plays older women actresses in top films. He really is a dead ringer for Winona Ryder.
The parents were pretty absent, like all throughout the movie. You know, they'd go to the store with Willy, and then Willy would just run away from the store with Gooby, and they would be like, "Oh."
The mom would go home separately.
She's like, "I guess maybe I didn't come here with my son." Remember when they snuck into the rated R movie?
Yeah.
Gooby bought tickets for everybody?
Yeah.
Like, these underage 8-year-old kids, let's go see Death Action 3000.
No money was actually exchanged. He kind of just like got the tickets.
He was like, give me those tickets.
I think it was sort of...
Well, the ticket guy was just horrified that this giant bear was demanding to...
But it was Halloween, so it's like, why was he so... Wouldn't you just assume that's a very elaborate Halloween costume?
Yeah.
And probably be like, you still need to pay? I'm not scared of you. You're in a costume. Like, you should pay me for the movie tickets. I work at the movie theater.
He's still pretty scary looking, though.
Yeah. So it's just like, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, let's be safe about this one.
Time to give him some tickets.
But again, what kind of lesson is that teaching kids, you know?
Gooby seems good-natured, and I think the accent helps. But I think he's really... Like, you know what? It makes him sound, like, whimsical and sort of, like, funny. Mm-hmm. But really, he's teaching all the wrong things. And I think poor Gooby's just such an idiot. He doesn't know any better. Like, he doesn't need to be... How old do you think Gooby is in, you know, like, human years?
He doesn't have an age.
I think he's
inanimate.
7 tops. Because he...
In human years?
Because...
He did, like, he was eating a lot of cookies.
He didn't know how a grocery store worked.
He ate that tub of hot dogs.
Yeah.
From the fridge. Whole. That was weird.
That doesn't seem like something...
Poured him over his head. It's like a 7-year-old type thing.
7.
Okay.
8. 6.
So then Gooby shouldn't have been allowed to see that movie either.
Absolutely.
It was all underage.
He was the most scared of the movie.
Who were the Hoonies? Because he was afraid of... That's another Y name. Hoonies and Goobies.
Willy... the Hoonies were...
Oh, those 2-headed...
Blue guys. Blue aliens.
Monsters.
Who appear and unappear. I mean, I think that those are his hallucinations.
Oh, so this is like going to be an impossible diagnosis because he's simultaneously having hallucinations, but then there's also a real-life 8-foot-tall bear that he's hanging out with. It's like, well...
Except he could just take Gooby to Dr. Chapman's office, and then problem solved. Dr. Chapman would be like, no, you're not crazy. I see Gooby too, because that's where the movie ends up going, where everyone's just seeing Gooby. Gooby's in a Lowe's at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Shopping for lumber.
I didn't know what the fuck was happening. It was because his dad has his own lumber job. He owns a lumber company.
Is that what it was?
And he was like, hey, family, I'm on vacation. I'm like going to be the world's best dad. And then the minute they get into that store...
He's passing out business cards.
What a fucking asshole. So he didn't learn his lesson either. Nobody learned their lesson.
Nope. I guess it's... Maybe Gooby's supposed to be... Maybe it's masquerading as a children's movie, but it's actually... This is like original Fox and the Hound, where it just teaches hard lessons, you know?
Yeah.
And Gooby's like, yeah, it's a kid's movie, but it teaches kids about real life, where it's like, you want to be cool? That's important because you want to be cool, so you got to beat up the bully.
Yeah.
That's a real lesson. Instead of
make
this...
him piss his pants.
You got to make him piss his pants while he's wearing a hot dog costume on Halloween. Gooby style. Right?
That bully looked like O'Doyle from... Billy Madison.
I think he reprised his role. I mean, what year was... Oh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Might have been his kid.
Could have been.
What if Big Bruce was played by Winona Ryder?
I wonder what Winona Ryder thinks about this child just masquerading as her.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she probably wants to take him out because she's getting older. No offense. She still looks great. But if you're Winona Ryder and you're like, hey, there's an 8-year-old doppelganger out there, pretty soon they're gonna look like full-blown Winona Ryder in her prime. So like, she's gotta be wanting to.
She's gonna be jealous.
Dude, she should go to school for him. Like, they should do a thing where he like stays home and then she goes in his place.
I think there was like a Lindsay Lohan movie about that.
About like, Winona Ryder taking
about that specifically.
Taking a place in school.
Gooby built a space cart for Willy.
You know, one of those space carts.
It was a go-kart that they called the space cart.
And they almost died.
Willy was like, oh, we gotta ride this thing. And then Gooby was like, jump on my lap, let's do this.
Jump on my lap, let's do this.
They start careening down this hill, going way too fast. And then they fly off and sail over the street where everybody who's starring in the movie is stopped at the stoplight.
Yeah.
And Willy's sort of narrating, like, as we were flying over this intersection, I noticed everybody looking up.
Well, no, not even that.
Or something.
No, it's like, that would have almost made sense, but it was like Willy is narrating the movie, but also a character in it, but Willy the narrator knows things that Willy the character
is
doesn't.
not actually seeing, yeah.
Yeah,
right,
it's
right.
really confusing. Once again, another confusing like thread that picks up. Like halfway through, you're like, oh, you know he's narrating, but then halfway through it switches, and you're like, wait, he can't know about that, but also not know about this other thing. You know what I mean? Like at one point, Gooby's saying like, oh, I went to this construction site today. I almost got dropped from a building. Well, if Willy knows about everything, he can't respond with, well, wait, you did what? You went to my dad's office? What the heck?
Right.
Like, that doesn't make sense.
It's his diagnosis.
Whoa.
You know?
Unless the reason he's hallucinating is because he's schizophrenic.
Yeah.
And so he's got split personalities, and one of his personalities is omniscient narrator.
Yes.
Omniscient narrator Willy.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is third person in his own movie, Willy. That makes sense.
See?
We need to go back and annotate when he flips between them.
I knew there was a rational explanation for that.
You're right. Wilson Coney Bear wouldn't have allowed a flaw like that to fall through. Coney. Coney
is
Bear.
Coney Bear really his last name, or is that like a Hollywood director?
It can't be. He picked 2 words at random. I mean,
if you had to pick 2 words at random, what would you pick?
My first word would be Winona. Mm-hmm. I have to pick a second one too.
Are you trying to be Winona Ryder as well?
Yeah, too much Winona. Too much Winona. You gave a really creepy line about Gooby sitting on, and when he said, "Sit on my lap, let's go."
Oh yeah.
That reminded me of another creepy line in which Gooby said, "I liked that today," and Willy said, "What's that?" And he said, "Being your dad," which sort of makes you feel like.
There was a lot of creepiness in this movie, obviously. But a lot of the, hey, I'm your dad now. And then, like, the boys passing love notes to each other and stuff in class. And then the music that they would play.
The music was insane.
The music would overwhelm the dialogue. You couldn't even hear. Thank God we had closed captions.
Oh, there was all these montages that would happen where you'd be in the middle of a scene, and then to just speed it up and not have to explain things, they go to like a hilarious montage, like when they're running around the grocery store. It's just like montage, and it's just the two of them like scrambling around the grocery store.
And they played a ridiculous song. We'll post it. But then there was some dialogue, and then they resumed the song that they had played throughout that montage. They picked it back up.
And they were all like sort of uncomfortable like love songs, like strange love song lyrics, right? Should I play this clip?
Yeah.
This plays at the end of the movie, but I mean, you'll get a sense. It's just bizarre. I mean,
imagine that song playing when there's an 8-year-old Winona Ryder
holding
and an
hands,
8-foot-tall bear looking at each other,
voiced by Hagrid from Harry Potter,
longingly. It just doesn't fit.
It's like someone reached into a Scrabble bag. Winona Ryder, 8-year-old, holds hands with Hagrid Fozzie Bear while Love Song plays.
Put it together. Let's make it happen.
All right, we can do this. I mean,
There's a scene where they're playing soccer out in the field.
Oh yeah, probably the most controversial scene in the whole movie.
And the ball gets kicked pretty high up in the air, and Willy's like, he just made all these friends. They went and saw this rated R movie together, so he's just like,
finally coming into his own at the school.
This is my crew.
Yeah.
And he sees the soccer ball coming down at a rapid speed, about to hit his new best friend. And it starts to get into slow motion. He's like, no, Colin.
Which is really strange, by the way, because soccer is a sport where it's totally fine if the ball hits you in the head.
Yeah, you can use your head to hit the ball. Like, that's perfectly legal. And so, very dramatically, Willy pushes Colin out of the way, and then the screen fades to black. And the next thing you know, Willy sustained a head injury from the soccer ball?
No.
We're led to believe.
You are led to believe that.
Because we saw him
Yep.
push Colin out of the way before the ball.
And then, in fact, you get the next scene, which there's time that passes, so you think that weird soccer injury thing is not going to be mentioned again, which at this point in the movie it was like, yeah, that makes sense that they're just going to breeze over that. Mm-hmm. But then Gooby gets a call at home. I can't believe I'm saying shit like this.
Yeah, Gooby's using the phone at this point.
Yeah, Gooby lets himself in the house, and there's a call from the school that says there was an accident. And it's like, oh, well, clearly Willy got hit with the soccer ball because that's what it alluded to earlier, and then someone's calling Willy's house. But you find out later in the movie, Willy tells Gooby that Colin got hit in the head with the soccer ball, and Willy had to hang out in the nurse's office with him. Now, why the hell is the nurse calling Willy's house?
And since when are soccer balls such a threat that cause head injuries?
I don't know. Pick something. You could pick anything. A football. You know what would hurt?
Ball.
You know what would hurt? Getting hit in the head with a football when you're not looking.
That would hurt pretty bad.
That would hurt.
Go to the nurse's office for that.
Yeah. Soccer ball, play on. Whatever.
Also, it wasn't like a high-speed kick, coming at you quick.
No, it was a lob.
It was a lob coming down from going really high up.
Again, no injury. And it's almost weird that Willy decided to make a big thing of it and run in and say, maybe Colin was like, I'm not hurt, but Willy was just like, call some help.
What if he sustained the head? I've got it, dude. I know what happened. He pushed him out of the way. Colin hit his head from falling.
When he fall, yeah. Oh, that makes way more sense. And then the ball, like, thudded on Colin's leg, like, harmlessly.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that didn't hurt.
That's what happened.
Wish you hadn't tackled me, Willy.
It was just sort of a confusing scene, but Willy caused that head injury.
Willy, it's hard to say the name Willy and not want, like, as the other person hearing that, you know? Like, whenever you say Willy, I'm just kind of like...
Just want to giggle.
Like, when you go by William or Will, Bill, that's what people do.
Have you ever seen the movie Free Willy?
But that's the whale's name. The whale can't help it. It's like Gooby. He doesn't want to be named Gooby.
The kid in that movie was getting emotional about the whale. He was like, Willy. Oh. And you know, I guess I was kind of giggling at that one as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not a good name. It's not a good name for a serious drama.
For a serious dark fantasy
Twisted.
child movie. Children's movie. Family movie?
Twisted child's movie.
Twisted child's movie. Something about saying that's wrong. So, Gooby consistently enters scene by, like, coming around the corner first with one hand, like, grasping the edge of whatever he's peeking around. First with one hand, then the next hand, and then his head peeking out sideways from that thing. I don't know why he's doing that. It must get exhausting. He walks upright on two legs, like...
I think the first time they showed that, like, I get it.
It's
a big reveal.
Yeah.
And it's a shocking reveal because you see those big fucking eyes and you're just like, whoa. But after like the 20th time of doing that, peering around into and then popping up, the reveal was...
I guess Gooby's going for shock factor though, you know? He's like, everything he does...
It's working.
I'll say. All right, let's do this. Name your favorite character and your least favorite character.
Okay. My favorite character in this movie was the little boy in the very beginning.
I love
who sat with Willy on the bench, warning him of all the bullies at the school and who the popular kids were at the school.
Yeah. By the way, this kid, it's hilarious because he plops down on the bench next to Willy on Willy's first day.
Doesn't introduce himself. He's like, listen, kid, you're new around here.
Yeah.
You want to watch out for Big Bruce. And then it pans over to Big Bruce, who's beating up some like weak, nerdy little kid. He's like, and then you want to be best friends with cool guys over there.
Yeah. He's like the mafia don of the elementary school.
Yeah.
He's like, and then just, that's it.
And then
walks
he
away.
Disappears into thin air and you never see him again.
Just that one scene later, just where he's sitting in class. That's it.
Yeah. It's like he was in the class.
Yeah. Just to confirm, like, oh, okay.
It's like once Willy met Gooby, it was like, fuck this other kid. I don't need to be friends with him.
Delete his scenes.
Yeah.
That's a good favorite character.
And my least favorite character, Gooby. Which is a shame. It's really a shame.
Damn. Okay. My least favorite character, the fucking title of the movie. That's good. Okay. My favorite character, I'll start there. I guess maybe Big Bruce, because Big Bruce, he's a bully, but I kind of feel like he's a businessman too. And because he goes and he's like collecting tolls for the hallway. He's like, hey, you use this hallway, you owe me a toll. And then when the kid's like, I don't have any money, like I can't pay, he kind of roughs him up a little bit. But then later on, he sees him and he's like, hey, you owe me 4 days of tolls plus interest. And I'm just like, you know, this guy is going to be okay. You know, sometimes the bullies, it's like they're bullying people because they're not happy. I think he's just an enterprising businessman. He's going to do great in America.
Yeah, good business acumen.
Yeah, he could be president one day, actually. Least favorite character?
Yeah.
The dad. I hate him.
You weren't supposed to like the dad because he was a piece of shit. He only cared about his job.
Yep.
But then you're supposed to kind of like him again towards the end because suddenly he tries to pretend to be world's best dad.
Yeah, but like the way that he gets to that is really weird. Like, we actually haven't talked about this climax of the movie. This actually brings us to the climax.
It's important.
So Gooby runs away, actually comically runs away with a knapsack on his shoulder. And then comes back and tells Willy, hey, I need to show you something. Like, this will make it all better. So he takes Willy to Willy's dad's old house where his dad used to live, which is now
a crack den. It looks like.
Yeah.
Just this rundown.
Yeah, it's literally an abandoned house. And then he's like, "Hey, look, this is your dad's secret room." And then, I mean, like, I'm not, I don't know what I'm supposed to take from all this. Like, did you?
But then he falls through the floor.
See, well, yeah. So what were we supposed to mean by? No, I know. No, that's
I don't
good.
want to ruin.
I know. I'm literally struggling. Like, so what were we? How was that solving? How did Gooby think that was going to solve anything?
Because I guess the connection was supposed to be his dad also had a secret room where he had like pretend friends and like stuff like that.
But
and
Willy doesn't have a secret room. And did it say that his dad had?
But I think
friends?
it was more about making his dad remember about.
So it was really about luring. So then, did Gooby set up
But you
Willy
know what,
falling?
That's actually like a faulty plot element, because if the lesson was like, hey, remember when you had imaginary friends when you were a kid? But Gooby was real. So that wasn't really...
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, so that doesn't make any sense. That makes no fucking sense. And then if the whole thing is, like you said, which I agree with, the whole thing must have been that Gooby was trying to bring Willy and his dad together, but the way that they got brought together was Willy falls in the old abandoned house and is hanging by a thread. Gooby runs out and uses a cell phone. He said he used... Later on it says that he used Willy's cell phone, but Willy had fallen in the floor. It's starting to seem a lot like Gooby fucking pushed him and set this up, right?
Maybe.
Because
he
how did he
wanted to bring the...
How did he have the cell phone then? And what was his other plan?
Whoa. You know, you're right, dude. Gooby designed that whole fucked up scenario. He knew the floor would give out, and he knew that would be the perfect opportunity to bring his dad there. And
later we were like, wait, who called the dad? Because the dad gets this call, and then that's how he knows he writes down an address. He's like, I have to go to this address. And he realizes that the address is his old house. And you find out later, like, oh, Gooby made that call. And Gooby says to Willy, he says to Gooby's dad, I called from Michael's cell phone. Well, Michael's literally hanging out of reach. Gooby tries to reach him. If he's out of reach, how do you get his cell phone? Unless he premeditated it.
Did you call him Michael?
Did I?
Yeah, he said Michael's cell phone. His name is Willy. You're just angrily talking about this Michael kid for the past 3 minutes.
I think my mind is so... First of all...
I might have to play it back. Maybe I'm hallucinating.
Honestly,
just like Willy.
I feel delirious. This movie is a drug because it disorients you so much.
Michael's cell phone.
Doesn't it feel like this movie spins you around constantly because you think you know what's happening and then it's like...
my mind is just so fucked right now. I feel like somebody like shook my head, poured like a tequila shot down my throat, and like blew a whistle into my ear. All at once.
That's actually a great review for Gooby.
I'm just like disoriented and like...
That's a great review.
A little messed up. So the kid is hanging, Michael/Willy is hanging on this random like bar that's separating him. He's like 10 feet up in the air or whatever, which probably would kill this kid if he fell because he's such a...
No, he's really high up, dude.
Anyways, the dad says, listen, do you trust me? And then Willy was like, yeah. And then he says, okay, let go and reach on the count of 3. He's like, 1, 2, 3. And then Willy doesn't do it.
Well, good thing Willy doesn't do it because it's showing you a side angle like of where they are, and his dad's several feet above him. If he lets go and reaches, that's not going to help anything.
Dead kid.
Yeah.
But then there were the cops there, but I don't know what they were doing downstairs. They were just running around in circles.
Oh yeah.
Like a cartoon.
And then you know what? So here's the craziest thing. Again, this dad. What's the dad's name? Whatever. He's dad.
Maybe it's Michael.
It's probably Michael. So he rescues the kid, right? Mm-hmm. They've been worried sick because the kid went missing. They don't know where he is. He runs out without saying anything. The wife's like, who was that on the phone? He's like, I have to go. You stay here, which is weird. He gets back to the house, and the mom is like biting her fingernails and pacing the house. And he's like, hey, I'm back. And she's like, did you find him? He's like, yeah, he's okay. And she's like, why didn't you call me?
Dude, that was really messed up. He's such a shitty
And it's
the
like,
dad is so shitty. You're right. He's the least favorite. Like, he is the worst.
like, you were missing your child and you didn't call the child's mother when you found him? You just drove home. He probably got burgers with the kid on the way home or something. Like,
but you know what? The mom also didn't really care about Willy. Remember when she was in
didn't.
the supermarket and he ran away? And she was just like,
She just went home.
I wonder if she was faking being worried about... I don't know if they even really cared about
dude,
Willy.
she's the worst. You're right. She's the worst.
They're both really bad.
They're both really bad. You know what else I thought was weird about the dad? He, like, learns his lesson, like, I need to spend more time with my family. I've been missing out. Like, I'm working too much. Like, I gotta do something. Like, I gotta do something about this. So he quits his job at the end. That's not the solution. By the way, no one's asking you not to work. They're just saying, don't be a shithead 100% of the time.
Don't go to Baltimore every damn day.
It's not even about that. Even when he's there, he is going to Baltimore a lot. Even when he's there, there's a scene where Gooby's making noise upstairs, and so Michael's trying to cover it up at dinner, and the dad's like, are you going to get sick?
Also, you said Michael again. You gotta stop. In your head, you're just calling Willy Michael. Dude, this movie fucking rocked your world.
Actually, dude, I might have...
I feel like I'm going crazy because I'm like, yeah, Michael, right? Wait, was his name Michael?
How many times have I said Michael? Am I okay?
It's been like 6 times, dude.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What was I saying? Willy. I want to...
Willy, yeah.
So Willy is getting sick. Dude, Willy's ridiculous. I can't say Willy. Can we just call him Michael?
No, it's
Okay.
confusing.
Willy. So Willy's getting sick, or pretending to get sick at the table. And the dad, instead of being like, hey, are you okay, son? Like, is everything okay? He's literally disgusted. And he's like, are you gonna get sick? And when he's like, oh, yes, I am, because he's got to cover up the noise, both the mom and the dad frantically reach for the plates on the table and pull them away.
Towards them,
like guarding, shielding
disgust.
them. Yeah. So the point is, I don't know what this movie's trying to say, but it's like, the dad doesn't need to quit his job. He just needs to, when he's there, not be literally absent or repulsed by his own child.
Right.
That's all that Michael ever wanted. I'm just kidding, Willy. I'm just kidding.
Willy.
I was just kidding. That's all Willy ever wanted. That's all Willy ever wanted. That's what Willy needs. You gotta give Willy what he wants. Yeah. I feel like the dad hates the kid so much that when he was born...
That he named him Willy?
That he named him Willy.
Yeah, I agree. Willy was an accident. And he turned out to look exactly like Winona Ryder.
Which, by the way, you should be thankful if your child looks exactly like a celebrity. Think about that. They're going to get an automatic job. Hollywood Bucks.
Hollywood Bucks.
No one calls it Bucks, by the way.
You're going to be making some of those. Hollywood Bucks. It's the head thing.
That's the head thing.
The head fuck. I know I talked about this a little bit earlier, but how everyone was sitting in a chair throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like the nanny. We didn't even talk about the nanny, but she was also maybe my least favorite character.
Oh, actually, that's a really good vote for least favorite. She, in the very beginning when she's meeting Danny... Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
Dude, I'm getting weirded out now. Your mind is pulling things from like different memories now. Your brain cells are deteriorating right before my eyes. Danny? Are you just naming like Backstreet Boys or something?
Dude, I don't know. I'm sorry. Willy is there with the nanny, and Gooby is stealing the cookies that aren't cookies. They're fucking brownies, but Canadians call them cookies apparently.
They're marshmallow pies.
They're marshmallow pies, and they keep disappearing. And it's obvious that they're not being taken by Willy because he's so far away from them. And the nanny says, are we going to have it out right here, right now, boy? Gesturing at him with a knife.
With an actual knife.
And the mom comes in and she's like, what is he doing? What? No. If a nanny that you just hired is having her first interaction while you're out of the room with your child and she's gesturing at him with a knife, you disarm her, put the knife to her throat, and kick her the fuck out.
Dude, that's a good point. Why did the mom take the nanny's side over her child? Like, it's weird.
Because she's the worst. Do you think that they meant to make the parents terrible in this movie? I guess they did, but they took it too far.
Why were the parents agitated with their son right out of the gates? Was it why?
Because he has problems, I guess.
The hallucinations?
Because the hallucinations. And yeah, I can see that being a problem, but like...
Don't take it out on... Like, treat your child, right? Don't...
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Treat your child to some marshmallow cookies. It's brought to you by Marshmallow Cookies.
Marshmallow Cookies, a sponsor.
I'm gonna get some fucking marshmallow cookies after this, dude.
Treat yourself to some marshmallow cookies. Dude, we're getting... It's insane.
Were you saying something about... You were talking about the nanny and sitting down and everything.
Yeah. We went on a better tangent than where I was planning on going. I was just gonna mention how there was a scene... This isn't really anything at all. Where... Gooby... You could see his backside and, like, his butt... Like, the fur is really matted down. And that's just because
he's been sitting. He's been sitting.
Everyone's sitting in this movie. I don't know.
I think that's what they think Americans...
There were some scenes where, like the nanny we were just talking about, she's sitting in front of the TV.
She's doing nanny things, like cleaning and folding clothes, but while sitting in a chair in front of the TV. So she's
only cleaning within this radius of what she can reach while sitting.
Maybe she scoots around in the chair all over the house cleaning. She's like fucking dragging it upstairs.
Dragging the chair upstairs. That'd be amazing.
Oh, last thing. In reference to the dark undertones in this movie, there were some uncomfortable comments throughout that kind of added to it, not just like the music and just like stuff like that. There's like dialogue. So for instance, when they're moving, he's like freaking out, and as the narrator, he says, "I'm leaving the only safe place I've ever known," which is like unexplained and a strange thing to say. And then one of the things that I thought was really weird was when Gooby wanted to hang up that picture that they had drew together in the
inside of his closet.
In Willy's closet.
Willy's closet.
Willy goes, No, don't hang that there. My dad hates when you hang stuff there. And it's just a picture with tape on it that they were going to put in the closet. And it's like, is the dad specifically like creating rules about don't hang stuff in the closet? Like,
well, and I also thought that if that was the case, that they didn't really run with this in the movie. Like, I thought Gooby, like when they're sitting in the kitchen throwing food all around, I thought like the dad would see and then blame the kid.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, there's broccoli everywhere,
and then
like,
the kid would feel like, oh, he can't like throw Gooby under the bus, so he's like got to take the blame for it or whatever. But that never actually happened.
In fact, there was no repercussions for there being literally a dozen hot dogs and a bunch of broccoli and everything just laying on the kitchen floor.
They fucking destroyed the kitchen, cleaned out the entire fridge, and
wrecked the backyard. Like, oh yeah, they're causing all this destruction everywhere.
At the supermarket, they've caused all this damage, and they, got away scot-free. They snuck into a rated R movie. Cool.
Made a bully wearing a hot dog costume and literally pee his pants.
Yeah, flying space carts everywhere, all over people.
All right.
Breaking and entering the house.
I mean, yeah.
Even the cops were there, and they're like, yeah,
whatever.
We're not
concerned with this.
It's Halloween.
It's Halloween. You get a pass on Halloween. Everyone knows that.
I was more like, we're in cop outfits.
Oh, yeah. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Didn't get that. Woo. Okay. So what do you think? Final verdict: watch the movie or don't watch the movie?
Please do not watch this movie. I don't think it was. It made me want to quit the podcast.
We did have some issues with this one, so yeah, it's rough. If you're doing a podcast, don't watch this movie. But if you like bad movies,
I hate how lately you've been recommending these movies.
Okay, I'm not gonna recommend it. All I'm gonna say is, if you have Amazon Prime, it's free on Amazon Prime right now. So you make your own decision. Make your own decision, listener.
Make sure to edit that out.
Don't
completely.
All right.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
A family movie about a boy with a very active imagination to whom something remarkable is about to happen. He's about to meet the most ferocious monster of all.
Gooby?
You guessed it.
Every time your eyes meet mine, heaven seems to be just a little bit closer. Just a little bit closer. Hey, yeah.
that?
Sometimes you just have to let it rip.
For every childhood, there is one time, one adventure, and one friend who makes it all come true. For Willy, that time is now, and that friend is Gooby.
I love you, Willy.
There's a whole section of candy that looks just like me.
Gooby, because everybody needs a friend.